Part 3. How dare you? A male pet makes him look like an emperor. Yi Yang snorted in disdain. He wanted to laugh when he thought of the hot eyes in the royal garden. If Ling Guifei saw the scene where the emperor was kissing me with other men, the narrow-minded and jealous Ling Guifei would not be so angry that he would vomit blood. Young master, you can't talk nonsense. If someone hears you, it's a big crime. Xiaodaoting was frightened by Yi Yang's words, and he quickly looked around, seeing that there was no one else around. He just put down the heart that mentions your throat. Next time, pay attention. Yi Yang didn't take it to heart at all. He looked at the sky, it was time for lunch, and said boldly, "Let's go. Go home for dinner." Yi Yang sat at the dining table, looking halfway in front of him. A bowl of rice and a bowl of boiled cabbage made my heart vomit blood. Is this what a concubine ate? He didn't eat as well. His meal was one dish, one soup, and one bowl of rice. Young master, there is not much money in the account, so I don't have any money to manage, so there is less food. Please don't get angry. The servant will be able to leave the palace in 2 days, and then the servant will go to Shi Yiniang to ask for some broken silver. Xiaodaoting looked at the food that was not as good as the day, and really felt sorry for his master. Yi Yang's mood was that he had to pay for a meal to bribe the people in the imperial pantry. It's not a life to ride on a horse. Now the most ridiculous thing is that his 1-month allowance is not enough to manage the world. Going to the original owner's mother for support. This is a bit of an old man. Although Yi Yang was not very promising in his era, he was still a filial person. When his parents were alive, he was afraid that his parents would be too hard for him to study, so he would work as a temporary worker during the holidays. The problem is that the original owner's mother is also a high-ranking servant girl, and her status is not as good as that of a concubine. 1 month's allowance can be imagined. But the original owner's mother knew how tragic it was to be unfavored in the palace. Afraid that her son would be wronged, she still lived frugally for a month and used money to help her son. Thinking of the original owner's mother, Yi Yang felt warm in his heart. Although he was bullied by the servants since he was a child, it was a blessing to have such a good mother to protect him. And the original owner has a conscience, and in order to keep his mother from being bullied, he will do everything possible to win favor. It's okay, as long as you can fill your stomach. You can eat whatever you want. Yi Yang comforted Xiaodaoting. He picked up his chopsticks and pondered how to make money while eating. Money must be earned, otherwise. If you live a life of such a useless life, wouldn't he blind him to time travel? But how to make money? After all, there are too many things to make money. So he doesn't know what to choose to make money for a while. Paper? Gunpowder? Refined iron? Which to choose? In case it's too shocking, these people can't accept it, and burn me as a monster. Isn't I wrong? Ouch, embarrassing. Yi Yang ate a few big mouthfuls, but he still didn't feel full. He didn't even let go of the cabbage soup and drank it all. Xiaodaoting looked at the 2 bowls that he had eaten cleanly. His nose was pantothenic, and his eyes were slightly red, and he decided that even if he risked being beaten at night, he would buy more rice for the young master. After lunch, Yi Yang drank a bowl of dark Chinese medicine and lay on the bed. He rested his head on his hands, thinking about what to pick. How to make money without shocking the world. After thinking about it, he fell asleep. When he woke up again, the sky was close to dusk. He got up, and he didn't see Xiaodaoting in the Jinyang palace. And he was a little puzzled. Did you go out of the palace to find the original owner's mother for money? Alas, you should have made it clear to Xiaodaoting before you knew it. Don't rush out of the palace to find the original owner's mother for money. After all, the term gnawing is too shameful. Suddenly, the eunuch's scolding came from outside the hall, and Yi Yang, who liked to join in the fun, walked out of the Jinyang hall curiously and walked towards the source of the sound. As it got closer, the insults became clearer and clearer, accompanied by faint slaps. He quickened his pace, turned a corner, and finally saw under a tree not far away. Several eunuchs arrogantly insulted the little eunuch who was kneeling on the ground, and one very arrogantly fanned and knelt on the slab. And there was a man in a fancy dress standing beside him. Looking closely at the man, wasn't it the concubine Ling that Yi Yang met at noon? He didn't want to meddle in his own business. After all, his status was too embarrassing. If he offended concubine Ling, it would be no fun for concubine Ling to frame herself in secret. Just as he was about to turn around, out of the corner of his eyes, he saw the back of the kneeling eunuch very familiar. If he looked closely, wasn't it the little doubting he was looking for everywhere? Yi Yang was so angry that he actually dared to hit him. Yi Yang, who was protecting the short, rushed over angrily, grabbed first Shoutouting's hand, and slapped his backhand under the stunned expression of the eunuch. The two sounds of pop were unusually loud. Not only stunned the eunuch who beat him, but also concubine Ling, who was watching from the sidelines. Yi Yang, you are so courageous, how dare you hit me? Concubine Ling Gui, who reacted, was so angry that her brows stood upright, and he pointed at Yi Yang and cursed angrily. If it wasn't for concubine Ling, Yi Yang might have praised concubine Ling, but the original voice was better. Much better than the voice that was squeezing his throat. But now the two were obviously on opposite sides. Yi Yang roared back not to be outdone. Only allow you to beat Lao Su. But also not allow Lao Su to hit you? Who do you think you are? You can walk sideways in this West Palace? Concubine Ling was stunned throughout the whole process. He was completely ignorant of the fruit on the tree, and the state of you and me under the tree. Seeing that the other party didn't reply, Yi Yang thought he was shocked by his own aura. He was complacent and realized that the other party couldn't understand his cursing words at all. I don't understand. Yi Yang snorted coldly, even arguing was so boring. What do you mean? Ling Guifei didn't understand a word. Yi Yang suddenly smiled and replied, what else could it mean? Of course it means complimenting you. Concubine Ling Gui was not a 3-year-old child, so he naturally didn't believe Yi Yang's words. Although he didn't understand what Yi Yang said, he was sure that Yi Yang was scolding him just now. Yi Yang didn't care whether concubine Ling Gui understood or not. He grabbed Shoutouting who was kneeling on the ground and asked in a cold voice. I don't know how my Shoutouting has provoked concubine Ling, and you want to be beaten so badly by you? I just saw concubine Ling Gui was rude. It's time to fight. The eunuch who was slapped twice by Yi Yang replied with a hint of anger. That's it. That's the fight. Yi Yang nodded in agreement. Concubine Ling sneered, thinking that Yi Yang would be hard-hearted and trouble him, but I didn't expect to be so cowardly, so I just admitted it. But the next moment, a loud slap in the face suddenly sounded. And Ling Guiran fixed his eyes and saw Yi Yang slap the face of the eunuch who was answering. Yi Yang, you are so bold. Concubine Ling's eyes widened in anger, pointing at Yi Yang and scolding. Can you say another word? I'm tired of hearing it. Yi Yang slapped the eunuch in disdain and slapped the eunuch directly. Yi Yang, you are so bold. Concubine Ling Gui, who had a meager swearing lexicon, held it back for a long time, but he could only say such a sentence.